Hello, welcome back to 5 Minute Bible Study. I know it has been a while. I have struggled whether or not I should be doing this, so I just stepped away. But for me, you know what? It keeps me close to God, and I enjoy doing it. So if I end up only doing it for me, for an audience of one, talking out loud like this about things that I've read and studied helps me. So I'm going to keep going. Now, we left off after reading Matthew 11. We finished at verse 19. And it just so happens that the next section is verse 20 to 24. And it's very miserable verses, so it's a pretty bad place to jump back in. But let's start with a bang. I promise you the next one is much better. So 11:20 to 24. Then Jesus began to denounce the cities in which most of his miracles had been performed, because they did not repent. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! If the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more bearable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted up to the skies? No, you will go down to the depths. If the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Sodom, it would have remained to this day. But I tell you that it will be more bearable for Sodom on the day of judgment than for you. How is that uplifting for you? Anyways, it's really not a good situation that we're in. And so I looked up some words, and woe means to have great sorrow or great stress. And then it said that he was denouncing, and denouncing means to publicly declare to be wrong or evil. And so I kind of wrote here that Jesus, this is ballsy, this is gutsy, just to come right out and say it. So I said that for verse 20, he just finished saying that you can't make people happy. When John did his thing, people thought it was weird. When I do my thing, it's not right for them either. And they're complaining and complaining. And no matter what, we can't make you happy. And so after this, he starts to publicly declare that the specific cities where he's been doing his work are wrong or evil. And I wrote here that from reading this, I thought they were wrong or evil because he had done the most God work in these places. It had been the most obvious for you to see God. He did ridiculous, amazing things, but they didn't change their direction and they didn't start living in God's way. And so he said, you're going to have great sorrow and depression on you, Chorazin and Bethsaida. I did crazy, amazing, God-only possible things right in your face, in your front yard, and it had zero effect on you. These other cities were unbelievably evil, but if they had seen the things that you saw, talk about revival. Talk about Asbury College or Asbury University. People wouldn't have stopped praying and singing and repenting and crying and changing their lives. They would have been on their knees saying sorry, asking for forgiveness, and leaving their changed people. And he says, as terrible as they were, and you know how awful they were, I would rather be them than you on Judgment Day. That should say something. And then it's almost like Capernaum was like, wow, you guys got it really bad. And he says, don't smirk at them, Capernaum. You think you're heaven bound? You're dreaming. You're on a one-way train to hell. Sodom would have repented and still exists today if they saw what I did here, but not you. I'd rather be Sodom than you when it's time to face God for judgment. It's not a very uplifting or positive way to leave the 5-minute Bible study today. So if I can leave you with a challenge and a challenge for myself, look for God today. Look for the crazy, amazing things he's doing, the God-only possible things that he's doing. Don't miss it. Slow down. Look for him. Repent, ask forgiveness, receive the forgiveness, because you will, and start living for God. Don't be like those cities who didn't give him a chance.